Hello Aries, this is your tarot reading for love and relationships, and as you can see I'm trying to adjust my format just a little bit. I actually someone mentioned that they prefer watching me pull the cards and explain them in real time. And, you know, I thought, yeah, that actually is more authentic for a tarot reading. So I'm trying to just work my format to where you can see me pull the cards and explain them while seeing me at the same time. If I had my way, I would try to replicate as much as possible what would happen if you came to see me in person for a tarot reading. So let's try to work with this, but hopefully, you know, this will work out. So Aries, I'm pulling your first card. You have an 8 of Cups. This is Justice. You have 5 of Cups. So we're a little bit watery here. This is a Page of Wands reversed. You have the Hermit, that's going to be right in the center. You have a 4 of Wands reversed, so your wands are reversed here, but then water's very strong. So we'll figure this out, what's going on here. You have a 2 of Swords. You have a King of Pentacles. And then finally you have the Hangman reversed. And as always, I will pull an outcome card at the end of the reading. So Aries, yeah, I think that just remember last month we were heading into Mercury retrograde, and I kind of gave you guys a heads up that there could be a little bit of fallout for the month of March. So in a way, not too surprising. And then some of you in the month of February, depending on how your Valentine's Day worked out, once again, lots of shifts and changes. So you have Valentine's Day, you head into March where there was Mercury retrograde. Now we're heading into spring, and spring is usually a good energy because in the Wiccan tradition, spring is a time of rebirth. And so, you know, what's going on here, I'm seeing it as a shift. That's my first impression. But I want to focus on one particular card that's here in the middle. And the card in the middle for this particular spread always tells me what's going on here. You have the Hermit. And the Hermit is obviously being alone, and sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes we need to shut ourselves away, take some alone time from relationships. So this doesn't necessarily mean that you're not with someone, but it could also mean introspection, seeking a personal truth. So this is not necessarily a bad thing. But yes, obviously, literal loneliness, not necessarily loneliness, but just being isolated, separated from someone, distance between you. And of course, this could mean that some of you are waiting for a particular person, whether they're coming back. So that's the Hermit. You know, feeling emotionally distant from someone. For some of you in the relationships, yes, you could be alone. So that's in the center. As far as your major arcana, you have Justice, which is always about doing the right thing, making moral decisions, choosing to do the right thing. It can also mean actual legal issues. So you have Justice, then the Hermit, and then here in your future you have the Hangman right here in the future, and that's reverse. Now, one of the biggest heads up about the Hangman is that you are The Hangman is about difficult situations. And the best way I can describe it is actually through the picture, because you see he's hanging upside down. And this means that you're going through a really difficult time and you can't control things. This man is sort of, as you can see, he's sort of literally tied up. And he has very little movement, very little freedom. And so the Hangman is about emotionally difficult situations, but you get through the Hangman by just letting go. You accept that you cannot control the situation. And so while you're hanging upside down, while you're in this difficult position, you have to sort of release control of the person in the relationship. You can't make this person love you, but it's also about during that time you're looking for emotional insight. You're trying to figure out, what is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning here? So this is reversed, and when this is in reverse, it can mean someone who's just emotionally blocked. They can't let go of certain things. They can't accept change. They can't move forward. And that's very important. So some of you, based on what I'm seeing here, just from your major arcana, especially with the Hermit here in the center, some of you are dealing with a love interest who is stalling, because you do have that Two of Swords here. And you're also dealing with someone who is not taking control over their life. There are things you can't control, like other people, but it seems like some of you are attached to a love interest who's just allowing themselves to be overwhelmed and using that as an excuse to emotionally run away. And I definitely get that impression, because when we look here in the past influences, you have that Eight of Cups. That is the energy of emotionally walking away, leaving something behind. Sometimes it can mean ending a relationship because the relationship is no longer spiritually fulfilling as well. So this Eight of Cups, leaving something behind, Justice card. This is about making, as I said, moral decisions, making the right decision, doing what's right. And then Five of Cups, which is the card of loss and regret. So what I'm picking up from the past, Aries, for some of you, especially since water tends to tamper down fire, some of you probably had to deal with a partner who was just emotionally wishy-washy, but they also felt, you know what, we need to take a break, I need to walk away, okay? And sometimes that's a good thing. But I kind of feel like some of you had a partner who wanted to take a break, get some space, and they're kind of like, did I do the right thing? Okay? So, having said that, as we head into the month of April, your fire is reversed. So I feel like this is a reaction to what your partners are doing, this emotionally wishy-washiness, not being present in the relationship. You have this Page of Wands, which is reversed. This is the card of good news, but it's also the card of new adventures. And pages are beginners. Then you have the Hermit, you know, personal introspection, taking a time out. Your Four of Wands is also reversed as well. So all your wands, the two cards with wands that showed up, fire's reversed. So some of you might feel that you're taking a step back in the relationship, that nothing is working out. Four is usually the card of celebration, it's freedom, and sometimes it can mean surprises. So when it's reversed, it can mean things are just sort of slowing down. You're feeling constrained. You're not feeling liberated. So this could be, April could be a month of, as I said, lots of shifts, lots of changes. It may feel that nothing is working out as far as the relationship, especially since your partner or love interest is just missing in action. but this is just temporary. As we head into the future, once again, it comes down to that decision. And I feel like someone with this Two of Swords, it's about someone who needs to make a decision. And it can also mean two people are not on the same page. But we have a King of Pentacles here. And this is interesting because it could represent an actual person. The King of Pentacles in a relationship reading for me, it means it can mean a person of interest, but this is also a card. Pentacles is a card of the physical, and it's also a card about someone who's very practical and sensible and grounded. So in a relationship reading, when I see this King of Pentacles coming after this Two of Swords, I'm getting the feeling that, okay, we need to ground ourselves. Someone needs to make a decision. Someone needs to think this through. And so this thinking through, it's leading back to the Hangman. And take note, you have a King of Pentacles here, but if you look closely, you'll see that there's a pentacle here as well. And that's because the pentacle represents earth. It represents the physical life. And it also just means literal circumstances where in life, as I said, there are things you can't control. There are things that are happening that you just have to accept. So I feel like the Oracle, the bigger message that the Oracle is trying to get across to you, Aries, right now, is accept where you are. Accept where this other person is, because emotionally, it does feel like they checked out. So I'm going to pull the outcome card to get a sense of where all of this is heading. But right now, I feel like some of you are kind of turned off with your fire energy reversed. And so your outcome card is a Seven of Wands. And this is a card that's really good, especially since it's fire and it's not reversed for you. This is the Oracle saying, one, get back on your feet. It also means that this distressing emotional situation here is you're getting yourself out of this Hangman in reverse. And so what this means is face the obstacles. Be brave and stand for what you want. So if this partner is acting wishy-washy and keeping you hanging, as I said, the Hangman reverse, then what you need to do is pretty much stand up for yourself. That's what this Seven of Wands is all about. And it has to be you being willing to walk away. You know, it has to be you being willing to walk away from the situation and saying, take it or leave it. But I'm not going to be put through these little ups and downs and emotional hang-ups with you. Okay, and you might need to do that. You might need to stand your ground. So that's what I see here in the outcome. And I feel that some of you are going to be able to have an important discussion with your love interest and your partners, and at the very least decide, you know, I'm just going to keep it moving. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to have you putting me on the defensive. Okay, so in a sense, April is going to be a time for you to reorganize and make your own decisions. If you're going to wait for someone to make a decision if they're going to be in the relationship, I think what your tarot reading is saying for this month, don't wait for this person. Just, you know, put it all out there on the table. This is where I stand on the relationship. I want to be with you. But at the same time, I'm not waiting for you. I'm not going to be held up here as these two wands, these two cards with wands are reversed. You're not going to be held up. So your energy, it's about your energy shifting here. And this Hangman, it needs to be turned around. You need to just accept where this person is and able to make your own decision. But if you're just hanging around waiting for this person, and they're just keeping you hanging, and they're not giving you any clear answers, that's when the Seven of Swords is most useful for you. So use that energy. But I feel like you'll be able to, whatever this emotional pretzel is right here, Aries, you're going to get out of it in the month of April. Okay? So that was your reading. And as always, thanks to everyone for your support. My regulars, hi, it was good to hear from some of you. I will see you next month. And remember, I do have a special $15 reading. My video readings are $15 throughout the month of April. So take advantage of that. Take care. And as always, I wish you love and light.